TGIF Warriors, we made it. Made it through the Fed. We're all still standing, right? Give me a Y if you're standing and had a decent week. All right. Hi, Kareem. How are you? Good to have you here, Ingmar, AJ. Kman's back. All right. Hi, buddy. Steve, Bran, James, Richard. Okay, you guys you're giving me Gus Sonberg. Welcome to Face. Nice to meet you. Bran. Okay. Bill Hines, how are you? All right, so I put out a question. Is the dollar beginning to carve out a low? So I've been talking about 98 for about a month, short from above par, and I have started to wade into this trade. So I want to see what the team thinks here. So yesterday, you see this confirmed high in euro, and 1750 was a level. I think you've all heard from me for a while. But I didn't short that because we were confirming the high pretty good on the 4 hour compared to cable. So how do you know the relative strength? Just by the RSI reading. So it didn't have as much strength. And Dixie, really confirmed this low. So it's between here and I'll give it 97.60, wrong under 97 for this particular trade. And one other thing I wanted to bring out that is having a pretty good impact on the market. Blake brought it up yesterday, Broadcom. So if you miss selling good earnings on NVIDIA, you had another chance here in Broadcom. Look at that candle. So I don't know what's going to save semis now. This became the new savior since NVIDIA hasn't been performing. NVIDIA's up a bit, but almost did the same thing that NVIDIA did. This was their good earnings. The only difference is at least it waited for people that didn't trade aftermarket stuff to do it the next day. Broadcom's not giving people a chance. So all these people that are long here are kind of stuck unless we're going to bring this back in a big way. So I want to say hello to Kman, welcome him back, and you have your sea legs, bro?
Hello, Dale. Hello, everybody. Yeah, they're still a little
Wow.
wobbly, but no, I
Well,
mean, I'm
hold
getting
on
them
to
back.
that bar on the ship.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
you want to go over, okay, buddy? So, so okay, why don't we start with U.S. dollar
Yeah,
yen? Big deal next week, BOJ.
yeah,
Do you think that's in the market, just like in a way, the Fed cut was in the
yeah.
market?
I think so. They disappointed the market a little this morning. Apparently, sources saying that they are not going to narrow down the neutral rate, which the market was hopefully for them to narrow it down so somewhere and for the market then probably hopefully 1% or above. But yeah, they're seemingly not going to do it. Also, not going to use it for communication, and then we have what we are seeing so often in the yen, and that's a couple of days of strength, and then you turn the ship around. And it's especially visible if you look at yen crosses, right?
Yeah.
That euro yen is trading at 183. It's a bit, and that's what does the most heavy lifting, I think, for the dollar yen. The dollar is doing a little better in general today,
Yeah.
but I think the heavy lifting is really done by yen crosses really, and they are just holding up. If it would be a dollar thing, maybe a different look, but it's still a yen. Yeah.
Do
So
you think by next when is it? It's a week from today, right? The
yeah,
19th.
yeah, it's the
Uh,
19th.
that that we could be up here testing the highs. I mean, this
Probably.
still is a higher low.
Um,
Uh, and maybe the market really tests the
mm,
BOJ's resolve by being in intervention levels by the
yeah,
meeting.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, Dale, that we are going to see US jobs data and other data next week as
Right.
well before the Bank of Japan. So everything dollar yen needs to be a bit put conditional. But yeah, the yen index is continuing to come down. So we are definitely in a zone or a timing where we can't exclude anything. Is the MOF going to wait for the Bank of Japan or going to wait for those US data? I would say US data may even be more important. But any adverse impact on the yen after the Bank of Japan will likely put us in a very dangerous territory for interventions.
Okay, so the Fed easing set up a break.
Mm,
Now we're ready to press highs, that 420 level again in the 10-year. And we had this one little poke above the breakdown the other day, and here we are at new lows for the move on
yeah.
TLT. Uh, Looks pretty ugly to me.
Yeah, and it's again the spread between the short and the longer end starts to widen again.
Yeah,
I think those inflation worries are probably still there, or the market thinking that the Fed, especially with the next head, is going to want to run, which they in a way are already doing now, want to run the economy hot, and
yeah,
yeah, so that may keep the long end subdued in the bonds.
okay. And any view on Euro had a decent week,
Yeah,
a
there's
nice
a
week.
yeah, but there's a bit of resistance there, 117.4560. We had a test of it, and so far not conclusive. So I would would like to see where we go into those next week data. I'm not long euro dollar. I've got Aussie again, but that's for a different reason. Yeah, cable is that we had weak UK data this morning. The October GDP came in negative, where it was supposed to print a very small positive. Manufacturing productions coming off. Um, so yeah, this cable I think is going to be continue to underperform euro. So yeah, I'm long euro sterling, so I'm talking my book of course, but I'm not a big fan of being long cable. I must say.
Okay, all right. So
And
that
the other
maybe
thing
this whole
which
thing
need,
in Euro pound was just a pullback, and now we're
yeah,
going to blow
yeah,
again.
yeah. Those
Okay,
those bids around 87.20 seemed very strong as well, and then now helped with those bit weaker data, we are slowly, I would say, pushing back towards 88, and then we will see what happens. That's how I look at it.
okay.
We had a good
Yeah,
break yesterday while I was off still on the dollar mix. We are close to
yeah,
18. It
yeah.
finally gave it up. Seems the market likes the fact that they are going to slap extra tariffs on China. But has to be said that all emerging markets are doing extremely well.
Yeah, that's
Extremely
been
well.
the play. So there's still rotation out of the U.S. With the S&Ps. I think
Mm,
they got within two or three handles of new record high. Sure wasn't a close that you would think about
yeah, we're
shorting.
yeah,
Yeah,
things as well timing. We're December. There's this. You know what I've been saying? Well, I mean, it may be valid for the equity markets as well. Whatever comes out in the market, but the metals as well are pushing through. I
yeah,
also thought that they would like have a very good close of the year, and seems to start to materialize. We are getting ever closer, right? So
yeah.
why not put a new high in all those equity markets, and then we'll see what happens once 2026 starts.
With Broadcom and the semis today, you look at NASDAQ,
Mm,
we're under the 78.6 retrace.
mm.
Still could be a failing rally in NASDAQ.
Mm. It,
You
it
would
it could
get
be,
in.
but then is it not also equally impressive that they come back so easily after
Yeah,
that bigger dip
yeah.
that we had like end of November, and then
Right.
we're already back like 5% higher, 6% higher.
Yeah, it's a beach ball.
Yeah,
So
I,
we'll
that
we'll we'll see.
really, really, I think we need to bear the end of the year end in mind. And I know we may still be early because we have those very important jobs data out next week in the US. But
Yeah,
when I look at the global picture in this market, it's defying
everything's
defying a lot
bullish.
of correlations, and
Yeah,
so we just have to go with the flow. Huh? We just have to go
yeah,
with the flow. I mean, look at the metals; they are unstoppable,
yeah,
unstoppable.
yeah. Talking about going with the flow. Here's somebody who, and here's a lesson you guys could all take from Stelios in the silver. So I don't know, about a month ago when we had topped, uh, he got out and thought there might be a pretty big breakout, but he got back in the trade. And Stel, I bet you paid up from your exits a little bit to get back in the trade, right?
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
would. That's
sir.
a pro move, okay? Because you know how many people, and I bet you felt that we all feel it when we exit a long position. We want to be able to get it better than our exit, or at least near our exit, and that keeps you out of the trade because you don't want to pay up. But you went with the market, not thinking about what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. You went with what the market action was telling you to do. And that takes a long time and experience because human nature is you sell something. If you're going to buy it back, you don't want to buy it back for a higher price than you sold it. So that's how it may work in the real world. But in the markets, sometimes paying up or selling lower than you covered your shorts um, is the right trade, regardless of your entry. So nice move on that. That's a pro move. So
Thank you. Yeah,
you
yeah.
want
I
to
mean,
talk
I,
about it
I
here?
think I'm going to take the screen. I think we should always look at every trade as a new trade. If you start linking it to something that happened before and all that, of course you look at what's happened before in whatever you're trading. But if you start looking at, oh, I got in here, there, I got out there, etc., then you're going to be in all sorts of trouble. So I'm going to talk about metals in a little bit. I just first want to talk about the Fed and the way I saw it. Um, and I wrote this in the chat room at the time. I said, look at what they're doing, not what they're saying. So people talking about the hawkish cut. I focus on what they're doing. They cut rates and they started buying T-bills. Yes, it's not QE. This is very short-term stuff. I think QE is going to come later in the the long end stuff that they're going to start buying again, but that's a different story. But for now, lots of dissenters. Or one, the obvious one voted for 50. A few didn't want to cut, but overall, the Fed is still cutting. And this shows that the bias, as with pretty much every major central bank, is on the dovish side. Whenever central banks hike, they do it so reluctantly. You know, they really do not want to be tightening because they understand the implications in terms of markets and risk assets, etc. So, given that central bank members and chairs only serve a limited time on them. Of course, it's a few years, but it's still limited. You know, it's not a few decades. They will always look to do what is good for the well-being of the financial instruments, etc. Unfortunately, what I think should be happening, both in the for the Fed and the Bank of England, given that inflation is a lot higher than their target, is they shouldn't be cutting. They should be keeping it as tight as they can. Take the short-term pain. It's going to be painful. Take the pain, bring things
Yeah,
back to normal, take inflation down, and then carry on. Of course, it doesn't help that governments are running massive deficits. That doesn't help at all, and they need to be funding these deficits somehow. But I don't want to talk about macro too long. But my takeaway from the Fed is we are on easing mode. They're always going to err on the side of caution in terms of easing. And I wrote on the chat room yesterday, I think we're going to have a quarter of more risk on. So
yeah,
everything gets bid. We get to the year end, Santa Claus rally, etc. Everybody's expecting a sell off in the beginning of the year. If we get one, I think it's going to be very shallow. And I think we are going to be seeing more and more strength in pretty much everything. Um, having said all that, now we can go and looking at markets. And okay, I can start with metals. Uh, um, because they are the thing in focus at the moment. Gold is still trading very well, not quite making new all-time highs like silver. Silver's catching up, but still, oh, my dogs agree. So gold is about to take new all-time highs. I think it will. And if we look at the gold to silver ratio, which is something that the coach, I know you look at a lot, and rightly so, as soon as we broke down from this
Yeah.
this trend line, that was it. Silver started.
That's everyone take a picture. That's Stel's Niagara Falls chart.
Yeah. So
It's
as
just
soon
a
as this fell
waterfall.
3 weeks ago, that's it. Silver
Yeah.
went on a rampage, and so I got out. If you've been listening to this to Face, and if you've been in our chat room, you will know I started taking my longs in silver at 23.10, and I added along the way, and I got out around 48. I knew 50 was the big level. I got out around 48. I was expecting a pullback. I was actually expecting 42-ish. We didn't get there. We got to 45. We broke back out as we were consolidating here. 57. I got in again. So I missed $9, which is, c'est la vie. And I got in at platinum, and actually got in more platinum than silver around just under 2 weeks ago. And I absolutely love platinum now. I have a big macro thesis behind it due to the car industry, etc. I've spoken about this quite a few times. Platinum is breaking out from this channel, and it just looks magnificent at the moment, and I am just going to keep these longs and see what happens. I got in platinum just below 1600 and silver around 58. I see no reason to get out at the moment, and I'm just running this, increasing, putting my stops up, but they're way below from here. I want to give these trades room to breathe, because we know just how volatile they can get from on a day-to-day basis or week-to-week basis. But for now, these are what I have. I actually have also, I like palladium as well. Somebody asked in our chat room this morning about palladium. Looks like it's breaking out as well. I am actually long an ETF, which is both platinum and palladium. It's SPPP is the ticker for anybody who wants to look at it. I like that a lot, and I am along those from quite a bit below, and I'm intending to keep those as long as this rally looks like it's going. And why should it stop at the moment? I see absolutely no reason for risk assets to end metals to turn lower, unless, of course, we get some kind of geopolitical event, or central banks start hiking 50 basis points, which obviously is not going to happen. So that's my view on metals. And I know I'm boring, and
No,
I
you're
say it.
not. But you said there's not one thing, and there isn't at the moment.
Yes.
Where are you at on the dollar? So that could be the one reason, the dollar and yields, if
Yes.
it turns. Okay, so
Well,
go
let's
ahead,
let's
bro.
look at yields first. Yields again, 10-year US is oscillating around the middle, 50%
Yeah,
retracement, or 50% of this range. I got out a couple of days ago, as I said
yeah.
before,
Look at
because of
look at TLT today. It went right
yeah,
to the breakdown, and
yeah.
you're not showing today's action, but it's sharply lower.
Yes. So that we could test for 20 again. We could even go to the top side of this triangle, but
Yeah,
I really do think that yields are going to be resuming lower, simply because central banks are going to be signaling that they're going to be easing, and eventually all across the
yeah.
curve. I don't think they have an alternative, as long as we are running deficits. So this is my view on yields. I know a lot of people disagree, and we have people who I really respect in our chat room and outside of chat rooms, who say 6% yields, 7% yields. I think they're coming. They will come, but right now, I think for the next year or so, I think we're going to see central banks pressing on the accelerator in terms of easing. So I
Yeah,
think 10.
I guess there will be a difference though between the short term and the longer end. The short term is going to be kept under the cush, but the longer end can float a bit more freely. Yeah? And the and and
Yes.
and the and the U.S. Treasury knows that. That's why they are going on the shorter end as well to fund the deficit.
Yeah, the problem is that the government wants the long end to be low. The short end is not really that as important as the long end. So I think the central
Yeah.
banks are gonna focus on the long end. Unfortunately, they shouldn't, but I think they will.
But then you need a market slowdown in the economy, which can come if the jobs
Yeah.
reports
Yes,
continue to slow down. But I mean,
yes,
yeah,
yes. And my view is the same for gilts as well. They've held very well this trend line, but I think this is going low. You saw the data today was pretty bad. GDP and other stuff all red. And unfortunately, the Bank of England is stuck now. They've got 3.5% inflation with a target at 2, and the economy is turning quite badly. So what are they going to do? They're going to ignore inflation. Unfortunately, they've been above inflation for what, 3 years now, and who cares? It's remarkable how they're just ignoring inflation. But this is
Remember
what they're
the
doing
panic when inflation was
at
like
1%. Yeah.
1.6?
Yes. Oh my God, we need to bring it up to 2. Yeah. Well, here you go.
Yeah, and of course they would be doing the exact same thing if inflation was higher, as they were saying, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they introduced the how did they call it? Symmetrical.
Yes.
Yeah, which they completely abandoned when they understood that if they kept that, then it would mean that they would have to run inflation a lot lower than 2% for a long period of time after the 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but no, that's not what they wanted.
Yeah. Anyway, they are biased. But anyway, we can talk about this for hours. So the dollar you asked, Dale, uh, it's an interesting one. Um, uh, Theoretically, if the Fed continues with a more dovish stance, the dollar should weaken. But I think most central banks are going to be dovish, apart from the Bank of Japan, of course, who want to hike more. I don't know how much more they're going to do, but so the dollar for me is a mystery. It's going sideways for the past few months, and I don't see how it's going to resolve one way or another. I think we're just going to keep going sideways. So I don't have any conviction anymore in the dollar. I had been bearish for quite a while. Then as we got to these lows here, I said, I think it's going to bounce right here, right now. I really don't know. So
Well, the $1 million question is which goes first, the double top at par 40 or the low at 96.40.
yeah,
So
we
and
could
I
be
don't know.
stuck inside for a while
Yeah,
let
I
me
don't know
out.
the answer.
Let me out
Yeah,
of this
exactly.
chart. I'm
because
claustrophobic.
because let's face it, the dollar is now
That's an option
struggling
too.
with
Yeah.
to pick a side because you
Yeah,
have a jobs market which is slowing down. There's no hiring, no firing, as they say. But then you got inflation a little bit running hot, which keeps the yields up. FOMC is still at 3.5 to 3.75%, where the ECB is at 2%, and that's your main driver of the Dixie. So what's it gonna take? What is it going to take out of this range? I mean,
Yeah.
it will eventually, but I
yeah,
don't see too many reasons to really pick a side unless the job market falters further and the market loses completely confidence in what the U.S. administration is doing. Then you lose, but then you won't lose 1%. You lose another 10%. But
The
yeah, I'm not
narrative
sure.
the narrative going into next year, I haven't heard that people are saying crash, a sell-off at the beginning of the year, but there is a narrative that there's going to be more economic strength due to the fiscal expansion from Trump's bill,
That's what
the
Besant
first
is
half of
saying.
the year.
That's
Right.
what
Okay.
Besant is saying. Besant saying like growth over 3.5% next year.
Yeah.
So, but if
So
that
there's a
would be the
reason.
case, and you follow the market logic, the dollar should actually strengthen next year, right?
That's what I'm looking for.
yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
so,
yeah.
and then the second half going into the midterms could be when the market's under pressure, which will, have political effects going into the midterms.
Yeah, that's going to be a different
Yeah, Mike
different story.
Delfino is saying, "Hey, Mike, let me ask you, we are there updated COT reports yet? So how do you know how the market's positioned? I know everyone's bearish the dollar. Everyone's saying the debasement trade, the debasement trade. Oh, so we get COT stuff today. All right, well, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the dollar, as I said, I really don't know. One thing I do know is I wouldn't be long dollar mex, and I've said this for weeks now, and we're breaking down positive carry as well to be short. I still like
Yeah.
that trade, and now we're gonna be. I don't know where we're heading. I mean, could we head towards these lows? 16 and a bit. Yeah. I think we could. So
Yeah,
that's
get
sorry.
through 17 3/4 80, it could accelerate.
Yeah.
And
We
that
got
was
these levels
because
here.
you guys said something that the Mex liked higher tariffs on China. There were
Yeah.
announced higher tariffs recently.
Yeah, because
When?
that tells the investors that they are staying on the right side of the fence, that is with the West.
Okay,
Yeah.
when did he raise tariffs again on China?
Yesterday, they voted for it yesterday. Must have come out yesterday sometime.
Wow. Okay, so that might be some of the weakness in the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing we want to take a look at is stocks, and the S&P is basically breaking out and gonna be heading to new all-time highs today, tomorrow, not tomorrow, Monday. I don't know. I mean, there's absolutely no reason for me to say I'm bearish stocks in any way. It just keeps going. The one thing that is disappointing me a little bit and surprising me is Bitcoin and cryptos in general. They're not really following risk
no, it's a
assets.
bear flag, isn't it?
Yes, this looks. It doesn't look good. And as soon as we broke below 100, I did see in the chat room, I put it up on my analysis. I turned bearish Bitcoin from 100K. I think as long as we're below 100K, it still trades bearish. And even with stocks about to make new all-time highs, it's still not managing to do anything.
Yeah.
So
Not
this
a good
looks
sign.
not a good
Ugly.
sign at all. Of course, Bitcoin could change from one day to the next, can rally 10% or drop 10%. But for now it looks very weak. So if I was bullish cryptos, I'd be worried here. I think there's a clear level here around 94.5 that might even try a short, below 94.5 and stop above. I don't know. It just seems a little bit weak. But then again, I think risk assets will rally into the new year. So do I want to be short Bitcoin against it? Yeah, probably not. So, but again, it looks weak, and Ethereum is similar, much more volatile than Bitcoin. But again, it's hit the 50 DMA and it reversed straight away. Just doesn't look strong in any way.
Okay,
Yeah.
AJ, did they reschedule? Did Trump reschedule? Or it must be about to happen. So AJ's talking about the cannabis stocks. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Oh, and we
something
have
was that.
Canadian data in a few minutes, don't we?
Okay.
Look at this trend line here. It's pretty beautiful, isn't it? Let's go to the data. We have, actually, let's go here. Actually, this is even better. Doo-doo-doop. There we go. So we get, let me move this out of the way. Building permits actually is not anything, it's not major data, but if we go back to the chart, I mean, this dollar CAD, it's a pretty big trend line. It has been going for a while, and also there's this zone here which has been broken. This could easily be a false breakdown, and then that will be a very bullish sign if we bounce off here. But for now, dollar CAD has been trading lower, mostly on the back of the employment data that we got, which was very strong. But then again, the guys at the BOC said that it doesn't really change their view that much. Dollar CAD, I don't know if you're trading it, Kman, but I'm not.
No, I haven't traded it for a while, but 137.2025 is a triple load there from earlier. Yeah, you just
Here,
there,
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
there, and look where the
Oh, and
trend
the
line
trend line
comes
as
in from.
well, and the fib as well. Oh my God, this is
Yeah.
incredible
There's a bit,
confluence.
there's a bit going on there.
That's nice. Actually, I'm gonna
Great
put
eye.
that there. I'm gonna put that there so that I can see it. There we go. Thank you for that, Kay. I hadn't noticed it. Okay, so let's go and see the data, but again, it's not anything major. And then after that, we don't have a guest today, do we, Dale?
No.
Okay. All right.
Go like 5 seconds.
Yes, drum roll.
Nice.
0.1, 40.
Whatever.
Okay.
Capacity
Positive.
utilization, a bit lower than expected. The revised quite a bit lower than the prior,
Yeah.
but yeah, building permits, building permits a lot higher. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, mixed bag here, mixed bag.
as we used to say, shouldn't have any sustainable impact.
Yes. Okay. Well,
All
that's it
right.
from me. So, don't know if anybody else has anything else to add before we go.
Steve, you want to wrap it with anything?
I think, following the Fed, we now have the green light to start moving more freely. We have been trapped for the last 10 days in the usual vortex of everybody waiting for, important,
Yeah. Bullshit.
news. Yeah. So I think the most likely scenario is that we are going to be seeing more dollar weakness in the day ahead. At least I wouldn't want to take the other side of this market for sure.
Okay. So new lows look probable to you.
They look probable. Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do.
All right. Well, on that happy note of the dollar debasement and the currency that I use not being able to buy as much. Remember, don't just count your pips, count count your blessings, because you probably have everything you need. Do you know what I heard once? It said happiness is not having what you want, but wanting what you have.
That's
So
very wise.
That's nice.
yeah, so think about that and count them and have a great weekend, everybody. Kay, great to have you back. Stel,
Cheers, Dale.
really pro move on paying up for silver. And Steve, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone, for hanging
You do,
out with
Dale.
us this week. I hope you guys I know you guys are receiving added value to being here for free. And the way to say thank you besides saying it or texting it, is to become part of something. And you're really doing something for yourself at the same time. So that's a wrap, everyone. Have a great weekend
Have a great
and
weekend.
see you guys on Monday. Adios, everyone.
Thanks,
See you,
Coach.
see you,
Thanks,
Dream
everybody.
Team. All right, buddy.